What is up, guys? This is Skwockster, and this is my very first vlog. So I don't need to talk in my gaming voice. I can talk in my natural voice. So that's nice. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't really know how to vlog. I've never vlogged before. But I know some people might be interested into seeing what I'm like outside my Let's Plays, my personal personality and who I am as a person. So, as for my first vlog, I think the first thing I'm going to start off with is how I grew up. Now, I've talked about this in a couple of my Let's Plays, my Uncharted and all those, but I've never really talked about it like in depth with you guys personally with a webcam. So, what you guys should know about me right now, the kind of person I am, is I am an easygoing guy. I love comedy and humor. I'm a fan of Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey, great actors. I like lots of types of music. My dad, he's a famous rapper. I'm sure I never told any of you guys this. His name's Dirty Dash. I'll provide a link to his album in the description. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. My dad, I grew up with him, and he is the kind of dad who's like, oh yeah, you gotta be a man and ride motorcycles and do backflips off of freaking sharks and stuff if you wanna ever be a real man. He's that kind of dad, he wants me to be a man. And he always says to me, Gage, you're not a man, you're still a boy. I'm like, Dad, I'm who I am. But, yeah, he's a very tough guy. When he was a kid, very violent, got into a lot of trouble. I'm not like that. I never was like that, but I did get into a lot of trouble. I was never really violent, but as growing up, my dad raised me most of my life. I lived with my mom for a few years, and then I moved to Alabama for 2. But when I moved back, I went to go live with my dad, and I was about 6 or 7 when I went to go live with my dad. And in elementary school, I was a troublemaker. I was extremely annoying to students. I would constantly talk and talk and talk and just talk people's ears off until they just didn't want to talk to me anymore. They didn't want to see me anymore. I was what you would be called the annoying kid in the school. I was the most annoying kid in the entire school, and I will admit that. Everybody thought I was just ridiculously annoying, and they're like, Gage, shut up, shut up. We don't want to hear it. We don't care about how long it takes light to reach the center of the moon. We don't care. I'm like, okay. I was very sensitive. I just didn't really know how to take it. So honestly, I cried a lot because I felt like I was very lonely. I didn't have very many friends. Actually, I didn't have any friends. I had a couple imaginary friends. But yeah, no, I never really made any friends in elementary school, and I was just a really lonely guy. I always sat by myself at the lunch tables. Then I got into middle school, and I remember that was the most difficult time of year for me. This was around the time where, because of my loneliness for so many years and not having any friends, I developed social anxiety and also really bad social skills because I didn't know how to socialize with people just because I went so many years without talking to anybody. I was very internalizing my feelings. So I was sent to a psychiatrist. Doctor recommended to put me on some medication. I took it, antidepressants and ADHD medication when I found out I had ADHD. And immediately my behavior increased in a good way. I started doing better in school, and kids started talking to me and stuff, and it was finally starting to go good. But then tragedy struck when I was taking the medication. My body didn't react to it properly, and what it did was it suppressed my eating habits. Basically, what I'm saying is when I took it, it made me not hungry ever. Like I wouldn't eat for days because I wouldn't be hungry. I felt full all the time, and I went into this underweight category. I started getting really skinny, extremely skinny. I used to have some meat on me, but then I shrunk up, and you could see like my bones like poking out of my face, and you could see my ribs. And the doctor said if I don't start eating more, I'm going to die. He said I was very close to death. I weighed about 50 pounds, and I was about 11 years old, 11 or 12. Actually, probably like 40 something. Actually, I weighed about 40 something pounds at 11, 12 years old. The doctor said he'd never seen a person in his entire life that weighed as less as I did. Um, so they started feeding me these ridiculously fatty foods. I had to eat about 6 to 7 meals a day, and I had to take me off the medication for emergency purposes because it suppressed my appetite. I started gaining weight at a natural rate, and as you can see now, I'm still not this fat guy. I never got fat or anything. I'm natural weight now, though. I'm not super natural. I'm actually still a bit underweight, but I weigh about 120 pounds, so I'm not like super skinny anymore. But anyways, on to that. Next, what happened was, because they took me off the medication, life got hard again, learning how to socialize and talk to people. I couldn't do it without the meds. I'm like, I need my medication. I can't focus. I can't talk to people. I get really stressed out easily. And they noticed this, and I got bullied a lot as well in school. Bullied constantly. Kids would pick on me because they knew I was sensitive. They knew they can get away with it. So what happened was, after getting bullied so long, I just started to go crazy. It's just pushed me to the edge, and I had very low self-esteem. I always thought I was this horrible kid, and nobody knows what it's like to feel my pain. I just wanted to die, and I became suicidal for a while. I didn't want to live. I felt alone. I felt like nobody was there for me, and all I got when I went to school was punched in the face, or thrown into lockers, or kicked, cursed at, told I was a piece of shit. So this is not a pity party, by the way. I'm just explaining to you what happened in my childhood. Hopefully maybe you can, I hope you can't relate to this, but if you do, maybe I can make you feel like you're not alone, because I know that feeling that you're alone. You're the only person like this. Why am I so different? Why am I so weird? And you're not alone in that. Just so you know, I feel exactly like that. And I'm still a human with feelings as well. So, yeah, one day I told this kid, I was like, hey, he was talking crap about my mom and my dad. And I was so used to getting insulted that it didn't hurt me anymore as much as it used to. But when you insult my parents, it just pissed me off one day, and I told the kid, I said, I'm going to kick your ass. And I ran at him, and I started trying to punch him. Well, I started punching him, and I kicked him to the ground. And then this teacher pulled him off of me, and I just cried, and I just started crying and stuff, and I couldn't stop, and I said I wanted to die. I told them, I'm like, I just don't want to live anymore. I can't deal with this torture. Now, let me just tell you a little secret. Don't say something like that to authorities and expect nothing to happen, because I was always thinking it, but I never told anybody my thoughts, and I never shared it with anybody. That's my thoughts were. And they asked me if I was serious, and I was like, yeah, I am. And one of the most traumatizing events in my life happened right after that. They called in a 5150, which means in danger of yourself or others, and they pulled in an ambulance, and I was put on a stretcher in an ambulance and sent to a mental hospital. And the entire time I'm like, why did I say that? I'm not crazy. Why would they put me on a stretcher? And I got sent out through the hallways on a stretcher, and all the kids were looking at me, and I just looked like some insane person crying. And I just felt that, being sent to a mental institute, let me tell you, it'll make you crazier. It does not help with your sanity level. Okay, it actually increases your insanity level. So, sent me there. I was given disgusting food and served this nasty, served these nasty steaks and made to watch like Sesame Street. I was forced to watch Sesame Street for like 6 hours. I stayed there for a few weeks, until they could diagnose that I was, in fact, not insane. And they're like, okay, yeah, this kid seems to check out. He's not in any immediate danger of hurting anybody or himself. And I said, yes, thank you for that. I'm ready to go now. Traumatizing weeks for me, very traumatizing, sitting there. After that, I got sent out of the mental institute. Oh, as a young child, I was also abused by my step parents. So that was also very hard for me. But anyways, getting off topic again. After that, I moved in back with my mom. My dad said he needed to go to college and get his degree. I said, you go ahead and do that, Dad. I'm very proud that you're doing something like that. You need to get your degree. It's important. It's more important than me right now. And he said, okay, well, you're going to go live with your mom again. I said, all right. So I moved in with my mom, and she didn't really know how to react to having me in the house at first. See, she recently lost her son, which was my brother, Braden. He was kidnapped by this guy, my stepfather, and brought back to Alabama, where I used to live. And so she just not used to having a kid in the house, and to have me back living with her, she didn't really know how to react to it. But I did my best. I stayed in middle school, and I tried to have good behavior. My behavior started to increase, in a good way, I mean. Not increase, but like my good behavior. I just started to mature, I guess, and realize that I can't let what other people consider me to get to me. You know, whether other people think I'm lame or an idiot or anything, I can't let that affect my personal emotions, because if it does, then they just have power over me, you know, and I should be in control of my own self. So I started working on my self-esteem, telling myself, no, I'm not a piece of shit, okay? I'm actually, you know, I can be funny sometimes. I can be nice. I know I can be respectful to people, and I'm not just this person on this planet that's just meant to hurt people, because that's what I felt like. Once I started telling myself these things started to get a little bit better. Dealing with people got better. I did turn to drugs at one point, not any hard drugs, but cigarette smoking and pot smoking I did for a while, because I thought it'd make me feel better about myself, and maybe I did it mostly just to be the tough scene. My personality really changed once I left my dad. 8th grade was different for me, because I became this badass, I guess you could call. And the guy you know now is not like the guy. I'm more like how I used to be when I was younger than how I was in 8th grade, because in 8th grade, I was just sick and tired of letting people hurt me. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to become this really tough guy, you know? And I'm just going to kick people's ass if they say anything to me. And I'm just going to smoke pot because it's a tough guy thing. And I'm going to roll in gangs. And I'm going to commit crimes. And nobody's going to tell me what to do. And I'm just going to be this tough guy. And I'm going to listen to hard rap and all that. So that's kind of who I became for a year. You know, I was just like, yo, you don't even know me, okay? I'll fuck you up, bro. What's up? And it was all fake. It's not who I am, you know. It's so fake. I wanted people to stop picking on me. And it worked. It also encouraged and provoked some people to pick on me, but that's a different story. Then at the end of 8th grade year, I stopped trying to be a tough guy near the end. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go back. It's not me, you know. And then I'm like, I got to move on to high school. You know, I'm moving on to high school, and I need to prepare myself, because it's just going to get a lot worse. You know, the bullying and all that. And around this time, actually, 8th grade, the beginning, near the end of 8th grade, is when I started doing Let's Plays, YouTube. Now, before I was a brony as well, if you guys are wondering. And basically, I was just like, I always watched YouTubers, like, I didn't know PewDiePie back then. He only had like 1 million subscribers back then. But a lot of other famous YouTubers I watched, Smosh and lots of different gameplay guys. I can't think of Ali A. I can't think of all of them, but I watched a lot of Let's Players. And I was just, man, I want to be like that. That's what I want to do. I want to make people laugh. I want to make people happy. I want to bring them enjoyment and entertainment. And how do I obtain this? Because right now I don't have any friends, and maybe I can make friends on the internet. So I just started doing Let's Plays, you know, and I had a really squeaky voice back then. If you go back to my old Let's Plays, you can tell it sounds very high pitched. My voice did not deepen until recently. But, yeah, and I was probably about 12 when I started, and I was just like, man, I was so into it. I'm like, hey guys, yeah, I'm gonna play this game, and it's really fun, and oh, I'll shoot you in the face, shoot you. And I'm like, so, yeah, that's the kind of thing I did, and I enjoyed that because I wasn't being fake, you know. At school, I got to put on this mask and be this kind of person, this tough guy. Yeah, don't pick on me because I'll mess you up. But when I got home, I would turn on my Bandicam, turn on my computer, and just be who I am. Just be myself, you know, and stop worrying about what other people thought. And yes, back then, people put in the comments, you suck, your videos are horrible, stop right now, go kill yourself. And I just was so used to it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let what you say get to me. You're not going to stop me. Because I'm not doing it for you guys anymore. At the time, I was doing it for me. Because I enjoyed it. And it's someone I could be, and I could be myself for that quick little 30 minutes every day. And I just enjoyed that. You know, having that time. And more videos, started doing it. It became almost an addiction. You know, I had to come home and release my emotions through my Let's Plays, and after a while my commentary got better. I knew exactly what to say, and what do you know? Subscribers started subscribing. I remember when I got 25 subs, and I was like, oh my god, 25 subs? Holy crap, that's amazing. And I was so pumped to have 25 subs. And this was on when I first started my the Epic Skwock channel. I was just like, holy crap, people like me, you know? I'm not alone. People think I'm funny, man. So I started doing more and getting more into it. And then I had about 50 or 60 subs when I started freshman year of high school. And that's when I started to really put a lot of time into editing and effort in my videos. I tried to put on this kind of what I call gamer personality. Now, in the beginning of my Let's Plays, I was more like genuine, and I wouldn't say my new videos, and I'm being completely honest with you here, my new videos aren't not genuine. Don't get me wrong, they are extremely genuine, and all the emotions I'm displaying is real, but I exaggerate them a little bit, I'll give you that, because I'm not as energetic as I was when I was younger, so I kind of have to exaggerate my emotions to provide that level of entertainment to people. But I learned exactly how to emphasize certain parts of my videos and how to emphasize what I say to add a certain level of humor to my Let's Plays. And people liked that. They're like, oh, wow, this guy's actually kind of funny. And more people started subbing. And my behavior in high school, I didn't have any problems. Like, for some reason, something about doing Let's Plays improved my own self-esteem enough to make it to where kids will pick on you if you have low self-esteem. I don't know if you guys knew this, but your self-esteem matters so much in terms of bullying. A kid with high self-esteem will not get picked on usually. A kid with low self-esteem almost always gets picked on. This is what you got to know. If you're getting picked on in school, high school, middle school, or elementary, or you did get picked on when you were in school, it's because you probably had not the highest self-esteem. Even if you didn't show it. Even if you didn't show you had low self-esteem, but you knew you had it inside, kids can smell it like a dog smells fear. And that's how it happens. But because my self-esteem was increased, I didn't get bullied at all in freshman year. It just didn't happen. And I was like, my life started to get better. My grades got better. Actually, my grades got worse, but that's mostly because it was hard work. High school was not easy. But yeah, and I just really started to enjoy it. Started doing more and more videos. What do you know? 100 subs one day. Next week, 200 subs. I'm like, how is this happening? And I just was pretty much nerding out, like, holy crap, man, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. And before you know it, I started doing more creative videos. Like, I used all my creativity and spent 6 to 7 hours a day on my channel. Around the time in the middle of freshman year is when I spent so much time. Every single day, I spent at least 4 to 5 hours refining, or doing something or recording or editing my YouTube channel every day for like 5 to 6 hours a day, and it was ridiculous. Uh, and that's when my subs started getting huge numbers, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then what do you know, 500 subs, and around, I think, no, actually before 500, around 250. When I had about 250 subs, a kid named Mario World sent me a comment on my YouTube channel, and he's like, dude. I'm like, what do you need? He's like, man, you actually got this show, bro. It's like My Little Pony. I'm like, what? My Little Pony? This is back when I was still kind of like that badass persona. Like, I don't watch that stuff. I'm too manly for that stuff. Yeah, I'm a manly man. So when some kid recommends me My Little Pony, all the alarms go off. Like, whoa, okay, no, I'm not watching that. I'm a man, and men's supposed to do man things, not feminine things. That's a man's job. But yeah, he just kept saying it, dude. Check it out. Just give it a chance. I said, fine, give it a chance. But after that, you gotta stop bugging me. He's like, cool. Just watch these links. And I clicked on the links. And the first thing I clicked on was Flutter Wonder. It's a song by Pinkie Pie Swear. If you saw my Let's Play of My Little Karaoke Part 4, you would know. I talked about it a little bit in that Let's Play. But, yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually kind of catchy. I mean, it was a different vibe. It was kind of like, made my heart warm. And I'm like, oh, this is different, you know? And I liked it. But I'm like, I don't like the show. That was just a scene from the show that was edited by a guy, and that has nothing to do with the show. I bet the show is crap. Yeah, but at the time I was like into like anime and stuff, like action, Dragon Ball Z and stuff. So when somebody recommends My Little Pony, it's totally against what I usually watch. But no, I watched the first episode. He's like, dude, just watch it. And the first episode, the entire time I felt so awkward. Like, my face was beet red. Okay, I was sweating, and nobody was even watching or in the room. I just felt so embarrassed. Like, I was sitting there like this, like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? And I was just, oh, I couldn't deal with it. And it was like, oh my god, I was so awkward. But I liked that feeling of awkwardness. It was like a feeling I haven't felt in so long. You know, doing something outside of your comfort zone is something I actually enjoy doing. And so I'm like, okay. Yeah. I'll watch one more. And so I watched one more episode, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it to them. Look, I'm not saying it's a good show. It's certainly not a good show. But it's not bad for the audience that they're going for. The story writing is pretty good. And the vocabulary they use is kind of ridiculous considering the audience they have. I'm like, why did they make it like this? It's almost like they made it for teenagers. And then after that, I did a Let's Play talking about how it wasn't bad and it wasn't good. You know, kind of talking about how, like, I'm indifferent about it. After that Let's Play, I'm like, okay, I'll just watch a couple more just because I had nothing better to do. Watched a few more, and watched a few more after that, a few more after that, and then after that, and then after that, and then finally, I'm on the end of the season 2 finale, and there was only 2 seasons out at the time. Season 3 or 4 wasn't out. I'm like, oh my god, that was awesome. That was an awesome video, man. And, yeah. That's when I really consider myself part of the Brony fandom, and I started getting into the fan art, and the Tumblrs, and all that crap. But, yeah, became a big Brony guy for a while. And I got my friend Daryl, which he's been in a couple Let's Plays that you've seen. Fallout, New Vegas with my homies. If you guys type that up, it should come up. That's my friend Daryl. I met him freshman year. And we started picking up real fast because we're both nerds, okay? I liked freaking Game Informer magazines. I nerded out whenever I got the new issue. I'm like, oh my god, Game Informer. And he's the same way. And I'm like, dude, we should totally play video games sometime, man. And he's like, yeah, but I'm an Xbox gamer. I'm not a PC gamer. And I said, hey, I got an Xbox 360. I used to be an Xbox gamer. We can play on Xbox. Played on Xbox with him for a couple of months. After that, I'm like, dude, you need to get a laptop. So I got a laptop, and we started PC gaming. And anyways, I converted him somehow into being a brony. He wasn't a brony before, but now he is, which is awesome. And I got almost all my friends. I started making friends freshman year also. I have a lot of friends. And they all weren't bronies before, except for my friend Clark, who's the only one that actually was a brony before I met him. But they all became bronies after, like, knowing me for a few months, because I just couldn't stop talking about it. But after that, just pretty much went through freshman year doing my Let's Plays. Then I graduated freshman year, moved on to sophomore year. And this is when my Let's Play videos started dying down because I've been more busy. And as you get older, you got more responsibilities. So sophomore year has been very difficult because I'm doing a lot of things I didn't do. I'm growing up as an adult, you know. I cook myself dinner now. I get myself to school, get home from school by myself. I pretty much take care of myself. I'm home alone a lot. And I started paying bills recently. Just taking care of things like that. And it's not, I don't know, it just kind of forces you to get older and grow up. Taking care of responsibilities. So I haven't been able to do as many Let's Plays every single day like I used to. And it's more like every week or every 2 weeks as of recently. But anyways, yeah, man, I could thank a lot of my life to my YouTube. A lot of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't really know. I was just talking about my life. But yeah, all the way up to now, I like to consider myself, I've been through a lot. I've grown a lot in a lot of ways. And I cannot say anything and not give you guys credit for it. Because you guys helped me out so much to my self-esteem and looking at myself as a person that matters and not a person that's worthless like I used to think. And if you feel that way and you go through depression like I did, and a lot of millions and millions of kids have gone through, you're not alone, man, and you just gotta work on that. I can't really provide. The techniques are different for each person. My techniques for dealing with depression are probably won't work for you because it's different for each person. But just remember, don't quit on yourself. You know, I gave up trying to be a badass. That's not who I am. That's who my dad is. And I don't need to be who my parents are. I can be who I am. And I am a playful, ridiculously silly, crazy kid who likes to goof off. And when things get down to it and things get serious, I can get serious as well, and I can take care of business. But I like having fun and making people laugh. That's what I enjoy doing the most. Hopefully I can do that with you guys, and I appreciate all that you've been through with me. And with that, remember to leave in the comments if you want any more vlogs. This was just a long one just to talk about my life. And in the future, there will probably be 3 to 4 minutes. But just a prologue. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And with that, this is Skwockster signing out. Peace.